Joining a webinar today. Today we're going to go through lead generation, kind of how do you create a marketing plan around it, how do you find them, how do you work them. Andy here, he was a former agency owner at a fairly large agency in Denver. He was kind of the marketing director there and in charge of lead generation for that agency. Now he's the chief marketing officer over at GloveBox, and he has allowed an hour of his very, very busy time to help kind of give us all his expertise on what to do with leads, how to work them, how to keep them, how to cultivate them. We also have Paul Powers. If Paul, you want to show your video really quick, say a quick hi. Paul Powers here is the business development rep at ASNOA. He's the one in charge of working all of the leads that come into ASNOA, and he's going to touch base on cold calling as well as one of the tactics.
Megan, I cannot show my video, actually.
All right, so we'll change that permission, Maddie. If you can do that really quick, we'll have you have your video on when we get to your section there. We also have Madeline. You've probably heard her talking in the background about the chats and all of that. So she's going to be there monitoring the chat, answering questions, helping if you have something that you want to unmute and ask a question, please reach out. We want this as interactive and as learning and educational and practical as possible. We're also recording this, so we'll be able to send this out to all attendees afterwards so that you'll be able to reference it back when you're trying to build your own lead marketing campaign as well. So without further ado, I'm going to let Andy take it over. You can introduce yourself. Thank you so much, Andy, for joining today and everyone. We'll get started.
Awesome. I really appreciate this opportunity to kind of do a quick training on a really good lead generation strategy that worked flawlessly at my former agency. As mentioned, myself and alongside my brother and my dad, we had a pretty large independent agency here in Denver, Colorado, that we built from about roughly 1998 to 2019. Myself joined in about 2011. When I joined, it was about a $5 million book of business, mostly personal lines. I'd say about 95% personal lines, a little bit of commercial. But then when I jumped in, my primary role was I was a marketing director. I generated leads 95% of my day in a series of ways, and I established this training to help our independent agents succeed and maximize the opportunity to make the money they want to make, build a solid book of business. And so I'm confident you guys will see a lot of value here. We ended up growing that agency from, again, that $5 million book baseline to $100 million in premium in just under a decade. So we scaled very quickly for a number of reasons. First being that our independent agents were very successful in building a book of business. They were writing anywhere between $30,000 to $50,000 in premium every single month. This plan right here will help you do the same. Whether you're new to the business or you've been doing this for 5+ years, I think you're going to see a lot of value here. When we sold that agency in 2019, we started a company called GloveBox, which I'll briefly chat about at the very end to give you an idea of what it does for independent agents now. Or you can certainly do your own research by going to gloveboxapp.com. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and kick off this training, teaching you a little bit about how you should be goal planning and how you can generate solid leads for your book of business. First and foremost, you really want to talk and put effort towards, time towards building a true goal. And goals are always tossed around. We always kind of just throw that word out, and they're maybe written down, and you maybe not look at them very often. But this is a very dedicated goal planning strategy here that is effective. So let's talk about that. You really do need to understand the activity that you need to do to execute and achieve the money that you want to make, because that's what an entrepreneur is. It's going out and doing it yourself and executing on all your activities to make sure you're making the money that you want to make. And so when you truly do go execute your marketing strategies, it's a very clearly defined purpose, and you can definitely hit your revenue goals. I guarantee it if you follow this plan. As far as the plan itself, everything is activity based. So we focus our time and energy and everything on, again, what we can control, which is that activity. We can create that higher probability of success. It's very simple. Let's start out by just talking about how much money you want to make in a given year. All right, have that number in your head, and divide that by 12, because that'll help you hone in on this individual month, which, you can do the math later, but let's hone in on, okay, how much money do I want to make in a year? Be lofty, go for, a big number, and then divide that by 12 to get your monthly revenue goal. And that's really what we're going to focus on. Then we're going to break it down to how many leads do you need to get in a given month to get to that revenue. And it really is true math, and it'll help you define this very easily. And once you have a lead target, we can put some activity behind that. So let's just continue down the path of getting that definition in place here. So again, start with that revenue you want to earn from the leads that you're generating. So have that number in mind. And just for example's sake, let's set a target of $6,500 a month. You want to make $6,500 a month in just that new business commission. We're not even talking about renewals right here. This is just, hey, out of the leads I generate this month, I want to make $6,500. All right. So let's just throw that number out there. Once you have that target in place, now let's hone in on the amount of premium that you're going to write. I don't care if we're talking personal lines, if we're talking commercial, whatever it is that you write, how much premium do you need to sell in order to achieve that $6,500 target? And you can just kind of work backwards using this strategy here. All right, so take that revenue number, that monthly revenue goal of $6,500 in this case, divide it by the commission split that you make at your agency. So kind of what split you make on new business commission. In this example, 80%. And then take another piece of the equation and say, divide that by what the agency makes on that carrier. So there's you have all your carriers. You can take what, they average out to be. Some pay, 18%, some pay 12%. What's the average between all your carriers? So you can get an average gross commission split. You can do, I want to make 6,500 divided by the 80% that I make, and then divide that by what the agency makes in total so that they turn around and pay you, right? So that's kind of that definition of how much premium you're going to write in that given month. So again, for this example, this individual is going to need to write $54,000 in premium. And that's certainly lofty, but it's certainly doable, especially with the strategy I'm about to lay out. So now you can focus in on that $54,000 of premium. Okay, we have our premium target. How many new clients or how many households do I need to sell in order to get to that 54,000? This is actually pretty easy when you think about it this way. You're going to take the premium amount, you're going to divide that by the average household premium. So you have an idea whether it's at your agency or whether it's you individually, how much your household average premium is. In this case, let's say the home and the auto, maybe multiple autos, averages out to be about $3,000 for any given house, right? You can figure out your math on your average household premium. And that'll give you the amount of clients you need to write in that given month. So in this example, this individual needs to get to 18 households, 18 new clients in that month to hit that target of 6,500, all right? We've now dialed in on that. All right, now that you have that new client goal, you can really get into how many leads you need to get per month. Now, this might be the hard part, but to make sure this part of the equation works, you need to understand your close ratio. All right, your close ratio, of course, is what's that average of how much leads I get and what do I actually close business? What is that rolling close ratio over a 90-day period? So if you don't have that established, you should start that right now. May 1st is coming up. You can say, all right, starting from May, June, and July, I'm going to look at how many leads I get and how many of those I close. That's your close ratio. All right. So make sure you define that. Now you can continue down the path of establishing this equation. So you're going to take your 18 households that you want to, or that you need to get to in order to get your revenue, divide that by your rolling 90-day close ratio. In this example here, 43% is the example. I think anywhere between 40 to 70% is fantastic. So let's hone in on that kind of goal. All right. So this individual needs to get 41.86 leads in that given month to hit their 18 closed deals. All right. So we'll average round that up to 42. I need to get 42 leads in that month. Pretty doable. I know it sounds lofty, but it's very doable. We'll kind of work on that in a minute. All right, now that you've kind of honed in on how many leads you need in that given month, now let's get serious. How many days in the month are you going to work? How many days in the month are you going to commit to building your business? Is it 20, which is fairly average? Are you going to go a little bit more than that? Maybe add an extra day a week? Are you going to work every day of the month and get to, maximize this opportunity to get to 42 leads? So whatever amount of days you're going to work in that month, go ahead and do the math. I'm going to get 42 leads. I'm going to divide that by the number of days that I'm going to work in that month. All right, 1.75. Let's round up. We're going to get 2 leads a day. All right, that's our goal. 2 leads a day, wherever that comes from. That is not difficult if you think about it that way. All right. And kind of this slide is going to hone in on, it is overwhelming to think about the money you want to make and that being a very lofty goal, but break it down. And it is that simple because we do have minutes in our day, hours in our day, and that full workday does end up being very simple to get 2 leads if you think about it. All right. So get that daily lead target and now you can get to work. Your goal is established. And now let's kind of put some activity behind that. You can really understand, this is my two leads a day is going to make me wealthy over time. I'm just talking new business commission and not even talking about renewals. So now let's kind of establish a true plan here. So in order to get a minimum of 2 leads a day, what activity am I going to do? So at my agency, I kind of hone in on these 6 core strategies. And these 6 core strategies, I'm going to break down piece by piece for you so that you can get a good understanding of kind of this pie concept. I have a pie of my lead marketing strategies, and within the pie are 6 slices. My natural market, which is kind of my inner circle, my family, friends, my professional networking, kind of break that down deep and make sure you understand that piece. Current client referrals, which are very important to your business. Having a social media presence, which can generate leads. Potentially paying for some leads to kind of subsidize or make sure you have some supplemental leads coming in the door. And then X dates, we'll talk about those as well. All right, core strategy number 1, your natural market. This is fairly self-explanatory. You have your family and your friends. Maybe you have a bowling league. Maybe you have a golf league, whatever it may be, some common interest groups. Just sitting in restaurants, stores, coffee shops, getting leads there. It can be easy. We'll talk about that. Running some sort of a campaign or multiple campaigns can work. Having booths, sponsorships, seminars, of course that will work. There's a little money involved there in the front end, but it does pay off. And employee benefit programs we'll talk about briefly. Volunteering, that always drives leads. And just promoting to local businesses, and we'll kind of hone in on that. But the family and friends part is the easiest way to get business. You all have family and friends. It's your low-hanging fruit. Just basically saying, hey, family, friends, I'm starting a career in insurance. Would you give me the opportunity to just quote your business? You do not have to go with me, especially if it doesn't make sense. If it does make sense, great, let's move forward. But your family and friends is the low-hanging fruit to at least get a quote. And by the way, it's not if they become a client, but when. It might take 2-3 years, but these are the people that can eventually be your clients, no problem. All right, your common interest groups. We talked about this: clubs, fraternities, associations, church groups. You just continued on the path of saying, hey, I'm involved with a lot of stuff. I may as well do the same concept that I did with my family and friends and just apply that to my common interest groups. Saying, hey, I'm in a new career in insurance, or I've been in this career for a little bit. It makes sense that I quote your insurance just to get, help me train on how to be a good sales professional in this industry. And then again, over time, they're going to be a client. And we'll talk about that. That kind of leads into the X date strategy at the end. But this is the easy one in my opinion as well. The first 3 are very easy, but you're always in restaurants, you're always in coffee shops. I know COVID's been a little unique with this, but it will open up. And so this will give you an opportunity to say, hey, look, I'm going to have business cards in my car, in my purse, in my wallet at all times. And I'm going to push myself to hand out 5 business cards per day, wherever that may be. Again, I'm standing in line at Starbucks or any coffee shop, and I'm going to maybe buy the person behind me a coffee and hand them a card and say, hey, just wanted to let you know I do insurance, and here's a card if you ever need a quote. And I bet you if you do that a couple times a week or even just once a week, that ends up being a client of yours at some point. It's very, very easy. And it really is taking a step outside of your comfort zone. So go ahead and work on that strategy. It helps to pull you out of that comfort zone and help you generate leads. And so that can work. Campaigns are a little bit of energy behind. You have to kind of put a little bit more attention to build out a true strategy. But starting a fundraiser is something that can be very helpful. And then just asking for referrals and making sure that you're helping take care of people if they do give you an opportunity or whatever that may be, by saying, hey, I'm going to donate $25 if you help me quote your insurance to donate to this charity, whatever that might look like. So there's some ideas there that we can talk about. I've actually helped organize a few of these, and they can certainly work. Booths and sponsorships are going to open up this summer, this fall. Get involved in your community by saying, I'm going to participate in these trade shows, conventions, find out what's going on in your community and jump in and host a booth. It certainly helps you spread some business cards very easily. Employee benefits. This is a very interesting one, something that you probably haven't come around very much, but let's talk about this. So identifying an organization, doesn't matter the size, who'd let you be recognized as their insurance professional. So like, hey, this company inside of my office building wants me to be the representative, their preferred insurance agent for their company. And, maybe even you go as far as saying, I'm going to look into the carriers that give affinity discounts to these, larger groups. Like, hey, I'm going to quote and sell these 20 individuals inside this organization, and these carriers do provide affinity discounts. So you want to look into that. And then basically you're saying to the manager, the owner, the president of that company, hey, I'm going to come in here quarterly. I'm going to do a quick seminar teach your employees about something that has to do with insurance, whether it's a, property insurance class or something that they should look out for. And this can be helpful because then it makes you credible and build some rapport. And make sure you're adding these employees to your own little CRM to make sure they're getting your emails on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis to just kind of stay top of mind. So that's an interesting one. This one, should happen anyways, just being involved in your community we kind of talked about, but just getting involved with food drives, toy drives. We did this a lot at my old agency. And again, people just appreciate you for that, and they'll kind of give you the opportunity to quote. Co-op marketing can be a little bit more challenging, but certainly can work. Just promoting an event that brings, sales to both businesses and allows you to promote your brand at the same time. Example would be kind of a free coffee for anybody that comes into a certain coffee shop from this hour to that hour. And you can offer kind of that free, no obligation quote for every coffee you purchase for the client. If you think of it that way, you're only paying $2, $3 for a coffee for somebody who walks in the front door and saying, hey, because I wanted to put my name out there, I'd love to give you a free, no obligation quote. So that's something you can do. Partnering with a local barber or gas station in an effort to promote yourself as well. This right here is the slide I want you to hone in on the most. In my career as an agency owner, as a marketing director inside our independent agency that thrived, this was the one that allowed us to get the most leads. Building relationships with other professionals because their clients could easily become your clients. I personally honed in on mortgage professionals, loan officers, individuals that are helping people buy homes. This is, in my opinion, the easiest way to get quality leads. And we'll jump into that in a minute. But then realtors, financial planners, life and health agents, captive P&C agents are very helpful as well. Auto brokers and roofers. Let's jump into every individual here. Mortgage professionals, loan officers really can and should be the most effective business partner that you work with. I had a strategy of, finding out in my territory, my 10, 20 mile radius around my office, who are the local loan officers, mortgage brokers that I can go see and groom into being my referral partner. Now, by now, this is a very effective strategy across the industry. So you may be saying, I already do this, or I might be too late. Like there's already mortgage professionals working with insurance agents. But although that might be true, that doesn't mean you can't be better than them and prove that you are better than them. if you want me to dive into this a little bit deeper, I do have a true marketing strategy on just mortgage brokers. We're releasing a blog tomorrow that talks about this exact strategy. So look out for that. I can get that to you directly as well. Why do mortgage brokers need to work with people like you, insurance professionals? Well, you have to have home insurance in order to close on a home loan. There could be a chance, I would say it's a 50-50 chance or better, that client, number one, they just want to focus on getting their home closed, but they also want to save money in the process. So there's a good chance they're not happy with their current insurance agent or their carrier. And that gives you a huge opportunity to jump in, be referred, knock out a quote within an hour, be that new preferred insurance agent, not only for that client, but prove to the mortgage professional that you're great at your job, you're on top of things, you're timely, you're effective. And I use this all the time, but a cherry on top of their loan by providing additional savings. And I call it red carpet. Like I'm going to give your client the red carpet treatment. I'm going to make you look good, mortgage broker. I'm going to make you look real good. I'm an extension of your business. And these are some of the terms and lingo that you're going to use when you walk into their office and introduce yourself and say, I am going to be your best referral partner because I'm going to knock things out, make you look good, and I'm going to put a cherry on top of your deal by making your client very happy with my extension of your business. And so we'll talk more about that if you want more info. But just having that confidence that you're a rock star and you're going to provide quality service to that client. Real estate agents can be that next big piece of earning referrals. I would say there's a food chain in the real estate industry. Typically a client's finding a realtor if they're interested in buying a home, and they're doing some home shopping. And at the same time, they're kind of understanding, okay, I need to get pre-qualified, so I need to have a loan officer. So maybe the realtor is referring somebody to a loan officer or mortgage broker to get that loan established. And then from there, it kind of leads down the path of the insurance agent, kind of gets that referral, and so on and so forth. So there's kind of a food chain here. So you can almost think of it this way. Why wouldn't you offer your realtors a free clue report? And I'd say dangling the carrot with that realtor to get an idea of when that buyer might be shopping. And what that looks like is maybe establishing a landing page that you promote to realtors and say, hey, realtor, whenever you have a client looking for homes and you're in the house and you're looking around and they're interested, submit a clue report on that property. And that's just you going to your carrier systems and establishing a clue report that you can turn around and give back to the realtor and say, hey, here's the loss history on this property. And this is what I feel the insurance could look like for this property. Maybe you do a quick quote, not necessarily grabbing all the information you need, but doing a quick quote on the property and giving that realtor an indication of what that insurance is going to cost. We did this a ton. I established a landing page at my agency. It was called coloradoclue.com. I don't know if that's active anymore at this point, but coloradoclue.com. We had someone do getaclue.com. And so there's many ways that you can get a landing page established for realtors to go submit their clue report request. You turn around within an hour and get them that report. Again, just based on your carrier systems, and you're giving that realtor something of value. Now you know that there's a buyer that could turn into a lead of yours. The other thing we did is kind of establishing a home buyer checklist. So that would be you taking a couple hours to establish a checklist that you can put into the real estate agent's buyer's packet. So whenever they're using that realtor, they're seeing your brand, your name, and the checklist that they should look for when they're looking at a home. Wiring, roof, plumbing, those types of things. Makes a lot of sense for the buyer and the realtor to put in their packet. All right, so receiving a real estate kind of referral is definitely a higher close ratio, I would say.
Absolutely. So before you jump ahead, Andy, we had some questions in here about mortgage lenders specifically. Do you have any ideas, examples of what you've done to work with mortgage lenders specifically?
Yeah. I mean, let's maybe go back to that one. Guys, I would establish a huge list. I would say I'm talking 100 plus people in a spreadsheet, and I would section them off, and I'd say, hey, these are these 5 at this mortgage office, and these are these 5 at this mortgage office. I'm going to walk in, talk to the receptionist, ask for John Smith to speak with him for a moment. John Smith's going to maybe come up to the front desk, or you're going to be able to walk back and see him at his desk. hey, John Smith, just wanted to drop off a card, say hello. I know that you probably already have an insurance agent. I just wanted to make sure you know who I was because I would love to work with you over time. I would love to earn your business. I know that you're not just going to hand it to me, but earning your business might be something that is in the cards. Very least, at least I just want to drop by and say hi. Now, not only that, but you're going to drop by once a week, every week. That's my motto. Once a week, every week for the foreseeable future. I'm talking months on end. And over time, whether John Smith has sent you a deal or not, you are going to be the most committed insurance agent in the market. There is no one like you because you're present, you're earning the opportunity, you're showing face. You might have caught John Smith on a day in which he's like, oh, I got a deal sitting right here. My other insurance agent isn't answering the phone. He's not answering his emails. It's been 3-4 hours. Why don't you take this 1003, which is a mortgage application, go back to your desk and knock out a quote. And if that happens, guys, and it's your first lead from that John Smith, you're going to go to your office, jump on your computer in your car and knock out that quote as soon as possible, get it back into the hands of John Smith, maybe get an opportunity to call that buyer. And you might have just closed the deal within an hour before the other insurance agent even got to his email. That is the goal. You're trying to catch these people at the right time to earn an opportunity to prove yourself. Now, you still may be in a group of 2 or 3 other insurance professionals, but at the end of the day, you're going to work your way up the ladder because you're doing this every week. You're jumping in their office and saying hi. And I don't care if it takes 3 months of not getting a deal, you're going to know pretty quickly whether or not that person has good rapport with you or not. Like, hey, this person's cool. We talk sports, we talk art, we talk movies. I guarantee over those 2-3 months, they're going to either tell you right to your face, we're just not going to work together, or hey, like, you're cool. This is going well. We're vibing. You're better than my other agent because you show up, you're present, you're timely. That works. And so this list you establish, you can make a little column next to that, the mortgage broker's name, and you can put a little A, B, or C. This is an A partner. This is a B partner. This is a C partner, meaning the propensity of sending more leads and the relationship you have with them. And then next to that column, what are the number of leads they've sent you that given month? Could be 0, could be 5, but you get an idea of kind of where you're tracking from these individuals. And then you can work on your real priority list of people that you want to take care of. Let's say John Smith turns into your best referral partner. You can treat him with a $100 gift card that month. Hey, you sent me 5 deals this month. I closed 3 of them. Thank you so much. Here's a $100 gift card. And by the way, John Smith probably doesn't care about the gift card. John Smith probably just cares about the fact that you took the initiative to show that you care about the relationship. One thing I want to mention right away is you should not ever tell your referral partners that you're going to pay them for leads. Please, please, please don't do that. It not only puts you in a specific hole with that individual, but they might just start throwing leads at you just to see what sticks. Take this one, take that one. It might work out, whatever. That's not becoming a real relationship. What's becoming a real relationship is the ones that you've worked on over those months. And you're saying, I'm going to earn the business. I'm going to be an extension of you and what you already do and prove to you that this is going to be a solid relationship. And by the way, I'm going to take you out for dinner, happy hour, golf. Here's a $100 gift card just because we are enjoying this relationship. The second you start paying somebody directly for each lead, they're going to expect more from you. They're going to expect, they're just going to, it's not a quality relationship. It's a money-driven relationship, which is not really going to work. I've been there, I've done that, I've tried it, just don't go there. All right. By the way, the people that are money driven like that just want $25 per lead are probably not the ones who are doing much business because they're not making a lot of money. And I know that because I've seen it over and over again. So that's just the tipping point of kind of what I can provide you as far as that relationship goes and building quality referral partners in the mortgage space. Hopefully that helps. And we can talk more about that. All right, so financial planners. This is obviously kind of the next phase of earning business from other professionals. You want to quote and sell their clients. Kind of what happens in this scenario is financial planners end up sitting down with their potential prospects or their current clients and laying out their financials. One of the biggest things that people spend money on in a given year is their home and auto insurance, of course. They're spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a year on their insurance. And so that financial planner has an opportunity to save them money. You should probably have 5 to 10 quality financial planners in your arsenal. that say, hey, I'm your guy, I'm your gal when it comes to, saving money on insurance for these individuals. So that's kind of the obvious one there. Life and health agents, kind of that same concept. I mean, they're already selling somebody that life and health policy, and kind of that next phase would be, what about your home and auto? Establishing a reciprocal partnership with this individual makes a lot of sense. Hey, I just sold their home and auto. I'm going to get you over to my life and health guy or gal because they're great at what they do. And this is a reciprocal partnership for sure. Let's talk about captive P&C agents. Makes a lot of sense given that, hey, they might not have a market for that client. It is a direct competitor. You can actually still team up. Hey, if I can't write this person, I'm going to send them over to you, and vice versa. And so, we probably are not able to write everything and every client, but if I can get them over to you and say, hey, client, I can't take care of you, but I know someone that can. Maybe they're at State Farm, American Family, Allstate, and they're going to do a great job for you. I promise that captive agent will do the same for you. You've probably kind of come across this professional network opportunity with auto brokers. They're just selling a car, getting it off the lot. Maybe that individual client can't get a hold of their agent to get an auto ID card or whatever that might be, which is where GloveBox comes into play, but we'll talk about that later. But the auto broker industry is a very good opportunity to say, hey, auto broker, I'm going to sit in your office every Friday between the hours of noon and 4 and just kind of hang out with you, seeing what clients you might be able to send my way. This is a good opportunity to kind of get an easy couple referrals. The bottom bullet point there, make it easy for the auto broker to refer you. Create some sort of a form. There's like 100 different websites, softwares to create a form on, whether it's Jotform or Typeform or some sort of an email template that they just have saved in their Outlook or whatever email template they use, and have clients get your info very quickly and easily. Roofers makes a lot of sense because obviously once that new roof is put onto a home, that client obviously gets an immediate new discount on that new roof. So team up with a few roofers and just say, hey, when you throw a new roof on anyone's house, just make sure to bring up my business and what I do, and they can obviously get that discount pretty quickly. So just kind of this co-marketing opportunity, whether it's door hangers, flyers, and just making sure your business cards are in their pockets, in their cars. This is how I used to break it down. You can do whatever you feel is best for you and your business. It's definitely all about quality, not the quantity. So we're looking, remember, at that 42 leads a month, and however that number breaks down for you, I would always go for this specific segment of saying, hey, I want to get 10 to 15 leads per section in the loan officer category. Realtors, I want to get as many as possible because I might have 100 realtor relationships. With loan officers, I might want to get 10 to 15 quality partnerships and get leads out of those individuals on that premise. Financial planners, I want 2 to 3 really good financial planners here and get a couple good leads from them per month as well. Captive agents, I want 2 or 3 really good captive agent referral partners and get quality leads there, so on and so forth. So you can see how this kind of breaks down, having the number of partnerships for each category. All right, let's kind of move over to this next core strategy, which would be current client referrals. I feel like every strategy feels like low-hanging fruit to me because there's definitely a way to make it happen very easily for each core strategy. But this one just makes a lot of sense. Either they're a prospect on the phone with me, I'm still quoting them out, and I'm getting a good understanding of their inner circle, their brother, sister, mom, aunt, and uncle, as I'm kind of getting to know them. We'll talk about more about that in a second. But hey, maybe I just sold you a policy and I sent you the welcome email and you're now officially a client of mine. You obviously had a good experience with me. Please ask them, hey, who in your inner circle can you refer me to? Every prospect and client you meet is an easy opportunity to turn into another referral. And I always say this, if you get 1 lead, you should turn that into 2 leads. Like every one person has 2 people that they can get you in front of. So, building that rapport with that client from the start is not only helping your, that current sale that you're making, but it's definitely going to breed business outside of that. So, if you provided a great service for that client, it really doesn't matter what happened with the outcome of the sale. You may have just done a great job and gotten to know this person well. Ask for a referral every single time. And I say this here, in a standard 40 lead month, 10 of those or more can clearly be produced from a current client. So just please ask them. Makes sense. Here's a quick script I would use all the time with my agents in the middle of the application process. You may not even sold them yet. You're just having this conversation. By the way, John, how long have you lived in, your state, whatever state you're in? Oh, John, I've been here my whole life. It's the best. Okay, whatever John says, doesn't matter. Oh, awesome. Do you have any family that live here as well? Oops, moved on too quickly. Do you have any family that lives here? You're just getting an idea of what family John might have. You're responding to John, and then you're writing down on a scratch piece of paper or in your email, whatever, what members of the family. Oh yeah, I have a brother, I have a sister that lives here. It's great having family in town. And then you're just going to move on from that part of the conversation. And you just now got an idea of who you're going to end up asking for a referral about later on. I always say a couple days later, maybe right after you sell the policy, I did a great job for you. Hey, John, I know you mentioned your mom and your sister live here. Would you mind if I give them a call and do the same? So that's kind of the concept there. You're identifying some things about that person, you're building some good rapport, and then you're going to later ask about it. What about your social media? Do you have a presence in one of these platforms or all of them? LinkedIn is vital for professional networking. So if you don't have a LinkedIn, you're really missing the boat. Please get that updated. Have a great headshot, have a great profile, and start doing connecting as much as possible. It's a great opportunity to a warm lead into somebody in any one of those professional networking opportunities. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, every individual has their own way of doing things, whether you're promoting testimonials or whether you're promoting something going on in your community or a good charity you operate, whether it's, anything, cool videos, vlogs, maybe it's some of the things you do inside your office that are fun, just something to help gain attention to you and what you do that's unique. I've seen all types of opportunities here, so we can discuss that more as well. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this piece here, but just knowing that there's opportunity to do insurance news, polls, referral programs, offering free quotes for your community, whatever that may be, so on and so forth. And make sure that you're providing other groups and individuals a lot of likes and comments as well to get some activity there. I talked about LinkedIn a little bit. The sole purpose of here is just making sure you have a good professional network, sharing articles, commenting as much as possible. Instagram, as long as you're posting actively, not just endless content, just making sure you have something cool, interesting, clever. Cool way of asking for business is always nice, but just making sure that you're either doing your own stuff or utilizing your agency's account for content. And it doesn't always have to be your own stuff. You can share other people's stuff. Twitter is actually interesting. I would say Twitter is one of the more active insurance, like in the insurance industry. Twitter actually is very active. So that's very interesting. So I would look into Twitter, see what you can do there to provide interesting quotes, thoughts, ideas, maybe you are the person in the industry that maybe just tweets about funny scenarios that happen throughout your day. You're on the phone with clients, helping them save money, whatever that may be, misnomers, whatever kind of is going on in your day-to-day with clients. I think this is an interesting opportunity to throw little tidbits and quotes out on Twitter. And that's probably one of my favorite mediums. All right, lead providers. This can be a really good supplement. Let's say you're down on leads. It's halfway through the month. Shoot, I need to catch up. I need 10 leads right now. Obviously, you can go pay for some. And here are some of the pay-per lead companies that you can go get that from. There's plenty of them out there, and they're all about the same as far as how they work. So I'll let you do your own research here. Lastly, as far as kind of what I think is a core strategy is X dates. X dates mean I didn't sell my client today. I'm going to call them in 6 months or 12 months at renewal and make sure they know that I'm available for another quote. All right. We say to recycle your turn downs and put them in a campaign, your own CRM that's, hey, John Smith, I didn't sell you this time. Look out for my emails over the coming quarter and 2 to 3 months, whatever that may be. Just touch points and saying, we're ready when you are to quote you again so that you're top of mind. And then when the timing is right, you are going to earn that client. And you can even tell them that, hey, John, we didn't get it done this time. It's only a matter of, when I earn your business, not if. So that's kind of a I realize this is backwards here. Actually, no, it's not. So I read that inaccurately there, but we're good. Let's talk about having a process with X days, because it's very interesting. Just knowing that you have one day out of the month that you work on X dates and you stick to that routine. Like on the 15th of every month, I work on X dates. I take my list of clients I didn't sell 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and I call them and I just reintroduce the opportunity to sell that again. And so making sure you're actively staying in front of them and making good notes. We use Easy Links at our agency, whatever management system you use or CRM that you use for that individual, taking good notes about their scenario, insurance, like they have a lot of tickets, accidents, whatever, and just knowing some things about them. They have a dog named Roofy, so that you can reference that stuff again when you talk to them next time. And I always would say, like, I kind of mentioned this already, just creating that expectation to the prospect that you're going to be in a campaign of mine because I want to stay in front of you, if that's okay with you. And then you can even set an appointment like 6 months out. John, would it be cool if I called you on August 5th? Like, I really want to talk to you then to try again. And now you have an appointment with them, and making sure you're set up properly with that person, that you're going to earn their business eventually, right? And staying accountable to your own system and knowing that this is how you operate. All right. That is going to be where I end my portion of the presentation. We'll probably open it up for questions right at the end. Do we want to kind of let Paul take over at this point?
Absolutely. So thank you for that. Thank you so much, Andy. And this is definitely not the end. We just wanted to, while you're on the topic about phone calls and X dates and talking about making those phone calls, we want to bring in Paul Powers, who is our in-house expert on exactly that, just to give you guys some extra tips. And just an extra thing, I know Laura Hamilton was chatting and tweeting and everything she could under the sun. Applied Epic, of course, does everything that Andy just talked about in terms of setting up and being able to track your prospects and your leads like that. So if you have any questions, always reach out to your Epic Dream Team. I know you guys know them very well, so Laura can also jump in at the end if she has any questions or comments. You can talk to her there. All right, so Paul Powers, our in-house experts in cold calls, please take it away so that we can kind of wrap up this cold call topic too.
Absolutely, Andy, great information. A lot of what we tell our agents to do when they're trying to just build lead generation. So I'm going to go over cold calling a little bit, and that's probably the most intimidating part of having to put yourself out there. But I want to go through some tips to help make it a little bit easier and some strategies potentially. So I got some stuff on the slide. So first and foremost, you have to remember that they can't hurt you. So don't be afraid of rejection. It's going to happen. But don't be afraid to take risks. Be personable, crack a joke. If they say something, oh yeah, if you're calling a commercial lead and the gatekeeper's there and he or she says, oh yeah, they're not until 10. Make a joke about them being the boss and how you aspire to hit that one day. Just lighten the mood a little bit. You want to try to just be as personable as possible. And if we're talking about gatekeepers specifically, I want to mention this is probably going to be a lot more on the commercial side, but try to avoid it altogether. If you're going to be quoting commercial policies, you want to maybe call a little bit earlier than 9 a.m. Because if you're a business owner, and I'm sure all of you know this personally, you're usually in a little bit earlier, staying a little bit later if you can, especially if this is your baby. So maybe call on outside hours. If you're calling somebody, also don't ask how you are. Don't say, hey, how are you? Because that's kind of a yes/no question. But did I catch you in the middle of something? And they have more time to think about how they want to respond. So you have more of an opening to kind of go into your spiel, but also have a script and memorize it. People know whether or not they like you in the first 7 to 12 seconds. So you want to make sure, hey, Paul Powers, Kevin Rigsby, did I catch you at a good time? Yeah, well, what's up? Well, we've been reaching out to a lot of commercial commercial stores in your area, in your industry, and saving them 30% on their insurance policies. I'm calling today to see if maybe we can save you a little bit of money. Something simple, offer a solution. Don't make it too long of a spiel, because then they just kind of zone out and want to hang up the phone. as I mentioned, try to drop the gatekeeper, but be firm as well. Let them know that you're coming as an authoritative figure. You have solutions, and give them a brief explanation. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them how you can help, and let them decide. Common challenges you see. I got some notes here. Sorry, I'm gonna look at my notes here. We've been seeing a lot of people. So in your script, 7 to 12 seconds, offer a solution, and then offer it up. And don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't understand something, feel free to say, tell me a little bit more about that, or what do you mean by that, or why do you say that? Let them open up a little bit. Ask open-ended questions, less yes, no questions, and let them kind of give you a story. The more information they give you, the more you have, more ammunition that you can use against it. And if you are going to deal with a gatekeeper, be vague. Hey, Paul Powers, is Kevin Rigsby in? Yeah, may I ask who's calling or where you're calling from? Yeah, Paul Powers in Chicago, Illinois. It sounds like you're meant to be calling them. That is the kind of energy you want to give off, rather than you're calling. Don't be over bubbly. Hey, Paul Powers here with ASNOA, looking to give you a call and maybe save you some money on. No, Paul Powers with ASNOA is Kevin Rigsby, or Paul Powers is Kevin Rigsby. Keep it simple. The less information you give the gatekeeper, the better chance you have to get to the actual owner of the company. But yes, maybe do some research before. So if you're going to try to if you have a list of commercial leads that you're going to be reaching out to, maybe do some due diligence on the industry first. You want to know what you're talking about. So when you call, you actually have a solution rather than just kind of shooting from the hip, kind of like I feel like I'm doing right now. So I apologize about that. But yeah, very simple. Another tip I would say is to if you have success on one call, don't stop there. Keep the momentum going. If you have one good call and you hang up, pick up the phone and dial again, because that energy is contagious. If you keep it going, it's only going to get better. And as I mentioned in the beginning, don't be discouraged if you do get a couple of rejections. It's all about the numbers game. You want to make sure that you're hitting a certain amount of numbers that you feel comfortable with. But of course, as Andy was saying, you want to make sure that you're getting quality leads. So you might even do some qualifications qualifying while you're on the phone with them, and they might not be a good fit for you. So that's fine. The point of the story is, once you get past the 7 to 12 seconds, if you don't get an immediate no, you also want to give them the energy that they have to sell you as well. So that goes to the point. Don't be too desperate. Don't be too bubbly. Make sure that you're firm, calm, collected. Memorize a speech, or memorize your script, and stick with it. Because if you sound more confident and sound like you know what you're talking about, the better chance you are to be able to actually close that deal. Are there any questions?
All right, thank you so much, Paul. I know you're a crazy busy guy, so that.
Sorry, I apologize. Worst week to do this.
Not. Absolutely not. You know exactly how to get it in, how to get it done, and have the results because it shows. So thank you so much for that. So the questions here, we're opening it up to everybody. We're opening it back up to Andy too. We're opening up to Paul. If you have any questions specifically, maybe example scripts. What do you do when you have the no? How do you overcome that? Anything with the specific leads that Andy talked about, please start chatting them in, or I gave everybody permission to be able to unmute themselves so you can jump in and ask a question. In the meantime, I think, Andy, we're going to talk a little bit about kind of giving you a chance to conclude and talk a little bit about GloveBox. So we'll gather some questions and we'll jump in as they come in. How about that?
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. If anyone wants to speak up, please be my guest. And some of you may have heard of what GloveBox is and what we're doing here at our company. We're an InsurTech company for the independent agent. Obviously, we know the channel. We've been in the trenches. We know what you guys have going on with your clients. GloveBox is a modern client portal in the form of a web application that can live on your website, or a mobile app that you can have them download on their phone. So it's the opportunity for the client, the policyholder, to connect to you, the agency, and their carriers. And why we're unique is because we're not specifically relying upon your management system, although we do use it in a way to help gain information to know, hey, what are we presenting to a client when they log in for the first time? We're presenting their policies that they have with their carrier. But we only have one ask of the client when they jump into your mobile app or web app, whichever device they're on. And that's to connect to their carrier through you. Usually when you're selling a policy with Progressive, State Farm, Travelers, Nationwide, you're saying, hey, I just wrote you a Nationwide, go download the Nationwide app, go start an account with their portal. We don't really want to do that, guys, because then you become a ghost. They don't think they need you anymore. And it's all about your brand and your company, keeping the client in front of you. So now you can have them say, now you can tell them, hey, no, go download my app. Here's the link to go download it. Or you can just go on my website and log into your account using your phone number or your email. We don't have username and passwords. No one wants to do that. You log in using your phone number or your email, and you immediately get a PIN number sent to you through that device. And you can log in with that as your password. And then you're presented your policies that you have with that carrier. And then from there, you can do a few things. You can request service, request a quote from you, the agents, whether it's going through service or you directly, or you can go to your carrier inside of that same app and access your carrier documents, your policy documents, pay a bill, start a claim. And that's just the beginning of what we've built. So again, we're trying to look to help the insurance agent have a seamless and robust technology like the carriers already have, but making it your own. So we're leveraging all of these carrier systems and technologies and putting it into one place for you, the independent agent, so you can license GloveBox for you and your brand. We have many ASNOA agents and agencies that are using this as a way to help their branding and help their service. We want to reduce the amount of phone calls that are coming in for ID cards and deck pages. There's no need to answer a phone call on an ID card or a deck page or who's my carrier, what's my policy number. Let's be done with that. That's not the way of now, and clients don't want to call you for that. Let's be honest. So look into GloveBox if you're interested and ask questions.
Absolutely. That's awesome. All right. So we've got some questions in here. So one of them is any example scripts will be sent out for cold calling or reaching out. And yes, absolutely. We'll get that going in the follow-up to this webinar as well. We also had another question for Andy from Greg Martin. He says, thanks for all the info. You talked about going into mortgage reps every week. Is this a 10 to 15 that you're actively targeting? Or how many do you have that you are visiting this often? And when do you switch it up?
Yeah, so I'm glad that was asked. And I do think in the early stages of your career, you don't really focus on how much money you're going to make. You focus on building a quality referral partner network. So it might take those 2-3 months and just know, hey, I'm going to be eating ramen noodles for the first couple months because I know I'm building my referral network for the future. And so that being said, I'm not focused on quoting and selling as much right now. I'm focusing on going into these offices once a week, every week, having a large list of mortgage brokers. I'm visiting literally 10, 15 offices per week. And in those 10, 15 offices are, 5 to 10 people per office. And then you're establishing over that long list, call it 100 loan officers, my 10 or 15 that are actually working with me, that are actually sending me business. And I'm getting the most out of those 10 to 15. And that's when I reference those 10 to 15. Out of your list of 100 loan officers, there's, those quality ones that you're really putting energy towards at the end of the day. But that long list is really just getting you established, getting you in front of those people, making sure you're doing your once a week, every week activity. And that 10 to 15 could grow to 20, 30 at one given point. I kid you not, guys, I had 150 referral partners. Most of them were in the mortgage space. It was actually my only role at the agency for a time of about 4 years, but I was doing the activity, which led to about 150 referral partners. I was earning about 7 to 10 leads a day that I was sending into a team of producers that were quoting and selling these leads. And so I'm telling you, stick to your own program, getting out and seeing them once a week, every week, a couple offices, a few offices a day. And I promise you're going to have 10 to 15 quality referral partners pretty quick.
All right, we got an anonymous question in, and I don't know if it's referencing the GloveBox app specifically, but I'm a new independent agent. On average, how quickly can you expect to get quotes back from a company? I'm experiencing wait times of longer than 24 hours to view that as problematic.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly depends on your systems that you're using, whether it's the rating system you're leveraging or the direct, system that you're using for that carrier. This probably sounds a little, is it more of a commercial than a personal lines question, which I was always more in the personal lines realm. And so the commercial lines is a whole other animal, of course. So maybe some more clarity if that individual wants to speak up when we kind of have a conversation on that, or if you want to type away on kind of what you mean.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. So whoever, you can anonymously submit that in and ask. And we also have Laura Hamilton, who's our expert on comparative raters, who might be able to answer that. We can have her reach out and we can address that in the follow-up as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I'll put my email in this chat feature for anyone that wants to reach out.
All right, David Mueller, you have raised your hand. Do you have a question? Do you want to unmute yourself? Since you're on the phone, I don't think you can chat in. Oh, okay, we'll get David Mueller going. All right, this is your chance to be able to ask questions about all the different lead types, how to work them. What do you say? Oh, David's typing in his question. All right, so we'll wait for David's question as well. Anything else in the different types of leads, how you should work them, how you set your goals?
We do have a follow-up question. So the anonymous attendee responded and they said it has been longer wait times with commercial lines.
Yeah, I would say that on the commercial line side, that's going to be more standard. And I get what you're saying. That's can be problematic, but that's kind of the standard in that line of business, or in that product line, I should say.
All right. So Greg Martin also asked, financial planners and life insurance. If you also offer these services, can you still position that like you do with captive P&C agents?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense to say, hey, I'm dealing with client A and it's just not working out for me. So I want to get it over to you, the captive or the other life and financial planner that might handle that. But obviously they're not going to write that over at State Farm, Allstate, American Family. You're just like, hey, I realize you may not write that line of business. Please, like you're already writing the home and auto, but it makes sense to just get it over to me to knock out for you. And I can be an extension of that life and financial planning side of things.
Great. So we have another question. It says, in regards to lead brokers, do you encourage that a % of your business come from that source?
Define lead brokers. Do you mean mortgage brokers?
I think that's safe to assume. They didn't specify. So you can just give an example of that.
I see the lead broker. I see the question here. I don't know. So guys, when you're thinking about your pie, your 6 core strategies, I would say at least half your pie is going to come from the professional networking side, because that's where you're spending a lot of your time. You're making sure that those are the quality leads. Those are the time, energy, and money I've spent on making sure that I'm handing out the proper material so that my referral partners know how to refer me. And that's a big piece we didn't talk about, but know that your professional network needs to know how to refer you. Don't just assume they know how to refer you. So make sure you bring that up. But knowing that that is a large piece of your pie. Outside of that, it's probably a 10, 15, 20, maybe 20% of the other core strategies, but they are extremely vital. But don't just hone in on one strategy. You got to diversify your strategy so that you know that you're getting many different types of leads. Hopefully that helps a little bit more. And if that individual wants to reach out, they can certainly do that. I see here another question. Andy, will you take a little bit more time about approaching real estate agents and what is in your checklist? I might be able to dig up my old checklist. It's really things like what to look out for with roofs. How old is the roof? What type of material is it? What is the age of it? I think I mentioned the wiring, what type of wiring, what type of plumbing, things to look out for with that. Is it an attractive nuisance? Like, am I walking into a property that looks ridiculous on the outside, but it's great on the inside? Those are the things that carriers care about. So that checklist I can dig up. I actually had myself and my team teaching real estate agents a property insurance class. So I would get a group of 15, 20 plus real estate agents in a room. I would teach them a 2-hour-long property insurance class, give them credits, CE credits that they can use for their CE credits. So you may have to go to your RESPAs of the world and get the CE credit established for your class. Actually, it was DORA, not RESPA, excuse me. So DORA, I got my class approved for 3 credits for the real estate agent. And the real estate agents are interested in property insurance because they don't know anything about it. So I would teach this class. I would get them to like me, know me, trust me. I would actually have a mortgage broker one in the room, and that mortgage broker loved me because that real estate agent is getting one-on-one time with the mortgage broker for 5-10 minutes during the class. They can have an intro at the front and the back to get to know these agents, and those agents send business to the mortgage broker, and then in turn the mortgage broker sends that business to me, the agent, whether it's coming directly from the realtor or from the mortgage broker. All this business is being generated from that one class. And I would do those classes multiple times a week or once a month, however you guys can fit that in. That's a great way to get real estate agents interested in what you do and teaching them something along the way.
That is a great tip. I know we have an agent that focuses entirely on that and does focus on the CE credits and the training and the education, and that gets a lot of real estate agents in and giving him referrals. That's almost his entire business model. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, certainly makes sense.
Absolutely. All right. So we're right at the 12 o'clock mark, but we can stay on for a few more minutes just to answer any questions. But thank you everybody for joining, for spending time with us. Andy, that was excellent. Paul, thank you so much for the practical insight that works every day. Again, Andy has his email in the chat. We'll also follow up with a recording of this webinar along with the resources you guys asked for and Andy's contact information. You can ask questions about lead gen, about GloveBox, and how all that kind of works together. So thank you again, everybody. If you have any questions, we'll just hang on for just another minute here. Otherwise, have a great day. Thank you, Greg.
All right, very
All
cool.
right, well, people are jumping off. Andy, are we able to share your PowerPoint slides in the follow-up as well?
Yep, I'll send you the most recent copy so you have that, and we can go from there.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much, Andy. Really appreciate your time again, and we'll be in touch as the follow-up.
Awesome, sounds good. Have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.